Good evening, everybody. You're watching 3D6 Down the Line. Once again, we are going to be playing episode 13 of our Dolmenwood Old School Essentials game. I am your host, John, your referee. Going around the horn once again, we have Mike playing Aelfric Berthistle, the magic user. David playing a new character, who we will reveal momentarily. Matt playing Halifax Swinny, the knight. And Ted playing Argus Dreger, the fighter. All right. So, tragedy struck last episode, as we all know, when Snell Mudclump, the character that was formerly played by David, passed away in an act of real bravery and heroism, which was pretty cool. Literally saved the party by drawing away these dire wolves that were native to the fairy realm of Phrygia, right when they are on the cusp of escaping through the portal back to the mortal world with the now mortal Princess Snowfall at Dusk and Sir Chythain back into the mortal realm. He drew them away with nothing but his whistle, and they lunged upon him, giving the rest of the party, particularly Halifax, who bravely and heroically also dragged both of his fallen companions through the portal and managed to save their lives. So Snell, R.I.P. He was a great character, and we will miss him. And David will have to remain silent for the time being as we
that might be the greatest challenge.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. True.
I will haunt you as Snell's ghost. Don't you doubt it.
Until the new character arrives, the ghost is present. Okay, so I just want to go over quick logistics things of business first, and then you guys can get to talking about what's going on. So the present situation is that you have all collapsed on the other side of the portal. So you are through those floating candles. You are upon the base level of those pristine steps, looking up towards the circular chamber where the blindfolded statue, where the previously blindfolded statue of Princess Snowfall at Dusk was. Right. So there's basically like a whole bunch of you just sort of sprawled across those steps. You've got two unconscious bodies, Aelfric and Argus. Halifax, you are winded and breathing heavily. Sir Chythain and Lady Snowfall are both sort of like in each other's arms, just sort of like on the ground, sitting and just looking at those bodies in shock and just sort of looking around them as well and just sort of trying to get their bearings. And there's so much has happened to them, both physically and metaphysically and temporarily. Is that a word? Like in the context I mean it as? And temporarily, yeah. That they're just sort of out of it, pretty much. Okay. So we are literally the only person playing right now is Matt.
All right.
So here's the status.
Okay, I've got some stuff. Let me tell you what bothers me about these guys.
Get it off your chest. It's just a one-on-one session.
Stuff to get off my chest, man.
How do you feel about the campaign so far, Matt?
Well, let's see.
Players leave a little more to be desired. Anyways, it is the 23rd of Limewald. We can't forget that. What we didn't do, unless Ted, you can gainsay me on this, is that because it turned over to be the 23rd while you were in the dungeon, we never rolled for weather. So don't let me forget that should you guys escape out in there, we do need to find out what the weather is like on the 23rd.
I'm a little concerned about your use of the word escape.
Yeah. Remove yourself, Satan. So let's just go down the line with statuses real quick. Argus, you are suffering from the Brewmaster's Balsam side effect right now and suffering from -2 to AC and saves until you get a night's rest.
Yes.
However, you are concussed until for an unknown amount of days, which means that you, as you know, and as you've had to remind me, you are always act last in initiative because you're just sort of messed up in the head. And just cosmetically, your jaw is completely jacked from having a wolf close its jaws over your helmet and crush it into your where your mandible met your skull case. But no mechanical effects, but you just might want to role play that you're sort of jacked like that.
Well, you said I had a -1 charisma.
Did I actually? Did I give?
Yeah, his mandible was like just.
Oh, we did roll for that. It actually did happen on the death and mismemorement table, right? And that's how I interpreted it. Okay, well, thanks for being honest, Ted, because I completely forgot.
Yeah. I've already knocked it off my character sheet.
Okay,
because that's just what he needed was more suck.
It gives him so much flavor. All right,
he's the most deliciously flavorful character, I guess. But
he is. Yes.
In retrospect, we probably would have all been better served if I'd let Argus die and Snell got out of the Phrygia.
Not at all.
Thanks, man.
We would lose our favorite joke.
Exactly. Would anyone really tune in?
It could be. Anyway.
All right.
As far as the 23rd of Limewald thing goes, John. So it tripped over it must still be nighttime then, because unless we were in Phrygia way longer than we realized.
Well, you don't. To be honest, you actually don't know what day it is. You're assuming that it's the 23rd of Limewald, but you stayed. You rested for 8 hours or whatever. In the tomb.
We never did. We didn't. That's why I still have a -2 from the balsam. We never got to sleep.
We decided to go exploring, John, and then I jumped down.
You're right.
YOLO crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ruined my nap. Aelfric.
Right. Yeah. So did we have weather for the 23rd? Because I don't have anything written down.
Oh yeah. Let me find it. The 23rd. Hold on. I'm nearly there.
A while back. Yeah.
23rd of Limewald is good weather.
Just good weather.
I have good weather. I think Mike rolled a 7 as it happens.
Weird.
So
okay. That's fine.
If it's, I mean, depending on how long, the fairy time distillation thing is, maybe it's the next day, maybe it's the middle of the night. I don't know. But it was good weather when we came into the tomb in the morning of the 23rd.
Got it. Okay, cool. So I got it written down, no problem at all. But you haven't been outside in a while. So that's Argus. Aelfric, you are, and Argus is also unconscious. Aelfric is unconscious. You have a disabled arm until an unknown time, and so therefore you cannot cast spells until that is healed. But the good thing is that the arm isn't mangled. In other words, like completely gone forever, or so once you actually get through that amount of time, you will be able to recover completely. But until such time, you may not cast spells. Halifax,
I've only ever cast one spell ever anyway.
Halifax, I should have mentioned this back whenever you actually gave the ring to Princess Snowfall at Dusk. But the moment that you actually put it on her finger, you would have felt a great burden lifted off of you, as your compelled quest was fulfilled in that moment, where you brought the ring to her and gave it to her. So that has been lifted off of you, and ever since you attempted your escape from Phrygia, that has been gone. So your free will has been restored, or at least the penalty for exacting your free will has been removed.
Are you still all moony-eyed over her and depressed about Sir Chythain and all that stuff? Or did that go away with the spell?
That's up to you, Matt.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, he feels a little used right now. A little bit.
Fair enough.
Oh no. Halifax on the rebound. Keep him out of the court. Antler. He's going to meet someone horrible for him.
There's going to be some bad carousing back at Birdwar.
Oh my God. That's what got him in trouble in the first place.
I know, but he's not going to learn that lesson.
You got to jump right back on the horse, man. He's looking for sweatpants and a big thing of Haagen-Dazs.
Right. I can see it now.
Also,
it's amazing.
The hell.
Okay. And then lastly, last thing before we get going, you guys can start discussing is I just want to check real quick. I believe that both Argus and Halifax are Sans armor and shield and helms, right? Everything got broken?
Yes.
Everything that you had is gone, right? Okay, so you have no protection against critical hits except for your just normal AC.
Well, actually, technically my helmet did not absorb a critical hit.
Oh, that's what I want to know. So it did.
Yeah, I just happened to receive a head wound.
Right. Okay, that's what I want to know.
Added a lot of color. My helmet actually still works.
It's bent, but still functional.
But I
permanently bent into your head.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can't get it off.
have to
change my
screw it
name to
off.
Argus Dent Helm.
Yeah, nice.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. Yeah. All right. Okay. So Argus has a helm. That's it. Okay. Got it. Also, last time I remember Mike, and I just realized this from our discussion on Discord today, that Mike, last session you were making jokes sort of about having an AC of 9 and 4 hit points in, and I know it's not much of a difference, and it's still kind of funny, but for ascending armor class OSE, the base AC is actually 10. So
yes, and I have a dex penalty.
Oh, okay. All right. That's why. Okay. Got it. So it is that embarrassing. Got it. Okay.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely.
Okay. Sorry, you knew it better than I did. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I've been supernaturally aware of my flaws since this whole thing started.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So that's the deal. So you were on the base of those steps, and what do you want to do? Chythain and Snowfall are just breathing heavily and just kind of clutching each other. Yeah.
All right, so
Right in front of you too, Halifax. That's just rude.
I know,
I
right?
snore. I just let out a big snore.
Yeah, what kind of heavy breathing are they doing, John? Is
Not the
or something? Okay.
No, this is definitely it. This is the heavy breathing of terror and confusion.
Gotcha. Okay, much more appropriate.
What just happened? Is Snell coming through? Where's Snell?
He won't be. It was only through his grave sacrifice that we were able to make it ourselves.
And he bows his head. Snowfall sort of sheds a tear a little bit, and said, "We will, as I said before we left, we will sing his name for all the ages. May he be at peace next to the Lord."
Now let's see what we can do with these two. And Halifax starts kind of doing like mental, triage, trying to figure out like both of these guys are on, looking really bad.
Mm-hmm.
The place where his head goes is who is going to be the most likely to help us get out of here, right? And
I have 2 arms.
he does notice the 2 arms.
Yes.
And he
Point,
does
Argus.
remember. He remembers 2 things. One, that when Argus is healthy, he's actually pretty strong. Like he can carry himself, but he's also super frail. More frail. I can't remember why that is.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Thank you for.
I didn't. Yeah, that's rough.
Oh.
And that sleeping outside for him could just kill him. So he's going to use he's already suffering from penalties already from using this balm that seems to be like temporarily boistering him up, but also at the same time you can see it's just like also like he's becoming dependent on it. But why the hell not? He's used two applications of this stuff on him already. He thinks, I'm going to apply this stuff on there, and his stand back. I can help a little bit here, and he'll smear some of the
black goo.
The black goo,
Sure.
On Argus to see if he can bring him back up.
How much is that heal again?
I think it's 1d4, isn't it?
1d4, baby. So let's see how I do. So far, I think I've only rolled 1s.
Yeah, 1s and 2s. It's not been hugely great.
Hasn't been good, but this time I'm going to do well. Here we go. 3.
Nice.
Okay.
That is better than either a 1 or a 2.
So I'm at 3 hit points, and I'm jumping up and down like a total maniac, vibrating with the power of what is this, beer paste of some kind? I don't know.
I'm not seeing you on Owlbear, Matt.
Oh, do I?
I need to uncheck your world thing.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think you've been named as Lamia, which I think is they default to naming you like a monster.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Yes, I see it now. Great. So 3 hit points. So that I think there's 3 doses in each one of those jars. So that glass jar can now be tossed, basically.
Glass jar, man. That can be useful.
Keep it. Yep, sure.
All right. Well, I still have a 3-dose set for when someone else falls over and needs to be balmed.
So
are you now conscious? I don't think I understand. I thought we couldn't be conscious again, John.
You can. You if you have fatal wounds, then any sort of healing will heal those fatal wounds first before it heals any hit points. But once you're just unconscious and stable, then you can get healing as normal. So, which is what
you could potentially throw one wafer at me or like whatever, and then I can actually walk around and carry myself around.
That's correct.
Instead of you having to drag me around the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Or we can just drag you around the dungeon.
We can just drag you around the dungeon, because the other thing Halifax is thinking, like, you know what? I think we need to rest and recuperate in here before we go back outside, because he knows it's at least they're going to have to camp out at least one time between here and getting back home, and getting you guys healed up one night, which I think we can do in this dungeon. Sir Chythain knows this place. We can go retreat back into the tomb where he was.
Yeah.
Which seemed safe and secure with the door. We can have our nap like we were planning on doing before.
You should check with Sir Chythain and see if he does remember the dungeon.
Yeah, well, you're discussing it right now with Argus, and Argus is Argus. You wake up and you're you're just like, oh, and you can see that all color has basically drained out of his face. What you can see of it through his crushed helm, and you're really not feeling good inside at all, Argus. Like you'd rather sort of be asleep. Not only because of the pain in your jaw, but the effect of the Brewmaster's Balsam in your system is so strong now. You're at a -3 AC and -3 to saves. Like that's like really poor. That
And I talk like this now.
and you're concussed, right? So you're just basically staggering around, like unable to defend yourself. Basically, but that's how I would interpret a -3 to AC.
Yes. Okay.
But Sir Chythain like claps you on the back a little bit and kind of helps you up, and Snowfall kind of clasps your hands between. She said, "It is so good to see that you are well as you can be, Master Drager." And Sir Chythain is sort of looking around, and he's like, we are still within my tomb, are we not?"
Yeah.
We are. We're down the steps.
He sort of walks towards the statue that's in the corner, and he says, he turns towards Princess Snowfall. "This is my lady here. They have erected statues to honor her here. And he turns towards you, Halifax. Was this in the intervening years?"
It must have been. We don't know when these things were put up, but I can. Strangely, they had this blindfold on the statue, and he kind of takes it out and shows it. I don't know why. Maybe they thought they did want her looking down and seeing the fairy realm that was down the stairs. I don't understand.
He looks at the underside. He sees like the Revelators, and these were men of the church who did this. They were not. It's not surprising they were not friends of the fairy. And he looks over at his now mortal wife, and she has since quietly sort of walked by, past all of you, and walked up to the statue, and she's sort of just looking up at herself, with a great sadness in her eyes, the same sort of sadness that you saw whenever she was wished into being separated from her father and being turned mortal. And it's at that moment where it's quite poignant, where you can kind of, it's really reinforced what has changed in her, right? Like you see her perfect idealized form of a perfect fairy creature, what's it about, alabaster sort of, beauty, compared where they're a very earthy beauty that has been replaced. So
Argus
she's
wants to go up to her and as best he can communicate, my lady, do not despair. Mortality is a great gift. All sadness will end.
She says, "It is just so new to me, but I'm content. I am with my husband." And she looks lovingly over at Sir Chythain. But I think I'm in agreement with Chythain that we don't like it here. As soon as we can go, the better.
I am dead on my feet. Can I please have a nap now? Can we just have some rest? Or we actually, if those two want to go to the campsite and sleep out in the forest in the tent, they're welcome to it. But Halifax is right. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna sleep over there, please.
He would say, "My lady, Sir Chythain, you have." It's really, really cold outside. I mean, really, really cold. Very unpleasant. They're also on our way in here. There were a number of dangerous creatures that we fought our way through. I am concerned for your safety. I can't adequately protect you all by myself. With our companions all together, all of us, we are strong and capable, but just a few of us alone out in this cold. There are other dangers outside. We just need to rest, recuperate here, just briefly. And then we will be able to remove open the door, and stroll out bravely, and we can get you back to a safe place within a couple days.
We understand, of course. We do what you must. When you're describing the cold, you hear a sound coming from down the hallway to the east. You hear a kung kung kung, kung kung kung, of something knocking against stone, and you hear a faint voice from the east going, "Is anyone there?"
On the does it sound like it's knocking on the stone door to the entrance?
The doorway to the east, yeah.
Indeed, yeah.
I'm like, oh, this head injury is I'm hearing voices now, man.
Well, Chide and Snowfall turn towards it.
Yeah, it
appears that someone might be suffering out there in the cold as we speak.
Head injury is so bad, other people can hear my voices. This is terrible.
Halifax is also thinking, hey, maybe we get some more help with this door. Yeah, so he says, come this way. The entrance is over here. I don't know if you would remember the entrance to your own tomb. I don't think it works that way.
We haven't woken up Aelfric, have we?
I don't think. No, we haven't.
Let's not leave him on the stairs.
Yeah, okay. We'll carry him up.
We'll fireman carry him up the stairs.
I don't know why you guys don't just give me a wafer and then I can walk around.
Comedy, yeah.
Like a sack of...
Those wafers are valuable, man.
And you ain't worth it. That's right.
We can weekend at Bernie's this. Don't worry. We'll just move your mouth when it's time to meet people.
All right. So what are you doing? Are you?
Yeah. So I will go up to the door. Is the voice coming from up the stairs? Like if I come around?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And you hear like a banging on. Like you hear like a.
It's terrible. Don't open it.
Wait, does it sound like a monster?
No. It sounds like
please kill him.
I'm trying to be as neutral as possible because I don't know how David wants to betray him, but it's obviously like someone in distress outside who is attempting to get in.
Yeah, if there's a crack in the door, I stab through the door.
All right, roll him up, David. New character.
No, he'll call out. Who's there? Who's outside?
You hear it faintly out there, David.
What a wayward servant of the Lord, ever present and kindly. And you? Would you open these doors and let me into the warmth? I'm afraid I have lost my way and found myself in quite the curious place.
Oh, man, in the church? We should let him in, Halifax.
We should.
Whenever you're chilly outside, you definitely go knock on the doors of tombs to find it.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Here's a nice burial mound. Maybe there's room inside for me.
Lodging accommodations available.
Could you hurry, please? I'm afraid St. Apthius isn't here to help me weather this chilled air. The saints are with us at their own capricious desire.
Saint Sedge will definitely help. Come on, Halifax. Let's see
Okay,
if we can rupture something else in my head trying to open this door.
All right, so he'll call out. Okay, we're gonna need your help rolling the door aside. It's very heavy.
And Sir Chide, please help as well.
Guys, use my staff as a wedge. Sorry.
No, I got my shovel. I'll use that. But yeah, if
we also have like we tried this before, so I think the iron spikes that we had kind of wedged into because Snell and Halifax tried to open it, just the two of them.
Yeah, but we didn't have enough strength to do it.
Right. But we had like a wedge and stuff. Like we had a whole setup. So we're gonna try it again, and he'll show them. Okay, we got these little, wedge points. Okay. So Chide, can you help here? Can you help here? Argus. Okay.
All right. Argus, what's your strength bonus?
Whoa, I don't get one.
And Halifax, what is yours?
I'm only a fighter that has a strength of 10.
I have a +1.
If I was awake, you'd have a +1.
Oh, jeez.
Damn it! I picked the wrong one.
Not with that half an arm you got there.
Willem, do you have a strength bonus?
I have a plus. Wait, did you ask me?
Yeah.
Yes.
+1.
Okay. And what are you using in addition to that?
The shovel and iron spike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some spikes drove in for leverage and also a shovel. He said.
All right. So you notice that Sir Chythain, now that he is completely mortal, you realize this too. Whenever he was just a shade as well, that he's aged, right? He's not in his prime anymore, but he still does have some corded strength in those old muscles. So he gets right beside you, Halifax, and grips underneath the stone and pushes with all of his might, along with you and Argus. Guillem on the other side does so as well, and using the leverage of the staff and whatnot, you slowly, and this takes like a long time, like about like a turn or so, like you actually like slowly pull it aside. The cold air from outside whips in, right? It just and it immediately reminds you of where you were just about 10 minutes ago, right back in Phrygia. You see a shiver go through Sir Chythain, and the light of day shines forth onto you, of normal everyday sunlight, sort of some strange sort of unlight, like in Phrygia. And silhouetted against it is a dark form. Slowly your eyes adjust in the bright light, and a form emerges, and it is Guillem. And what do they see, David?
I think they see, at first blush, since I rolled a head poised upon an elegant neck, I think he's probably a fairly lithe, tall figure who has prominent scarring across his face. You might, if any of them are could recognize plague scars, would be fairly obvious, I think, what the source of that is. And though they also, I think, cover his arms, but very notably, he doesn't appear ashamed of them. They aren't hidden or anything like that. I think it is worn pride. And he has a very, what else would I say? I think given his 17 charisma, there is a unnatural brightness to his eyes. He's sort of unblinking. Not in like a sinister way, but when he speaks to you, when he looks at you, it's sort of just, you're sort of like pulled in, I think, to his gaze.
Now he has the usual monk's robes and tonsured head. Is that correct?
Of course.
Right on.
Why wouldn't he? Although I think, well, yeah.
The all-important question: facial hair, any?
I think no facial hair, since Snell had facial hair. And I think, interesting. Maybe this gets a little too, whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's say the scarring sort of has all but removed one of his eyebrows, as he has sort of like a scar across sort of his forehead like this.
Does he have like patches of missing hair too, where the scar?
Yeah, maybe there's a couple. Maybe there's like a little bit, where it's sort of like gone up his forehead like this from like.
What did you say your charisma was?
17.
All in the eyes, baby.
It's all in the eyes. I'm telling you, it is as if a light emanates from them. One might say.
The light of zealotry.
Yeah, exactly. The light is St. Fogarty is just really just beaming through those.
Nice. And
those scars look good, baby.
And you're wielding a staff, correct?
Yeah, I have like a regular staff.
Okay. And I assume too that it would be the case that you would be basically bundled in some sort of cold weather clothing as well, on top of your robes. But the breath is steaming in front of him as you see. I guess probably his eyes first would be what you're drawn to first. Just so real quick, just like real brief background for you, Guillem, is that you're wandering fire, whatever, and out here in the cold, got lost, whatever. You found either the footprints or you actually found their actual camp, and thinking that where there's recent footprints, there's probably people who are also looking for warmth. You followed those footprints, and lo and behold, you came upon this strange ring of stones and this tomb. You got a little bit worried when you saw that the footprints led all around, but seemed to have gone into that slimy hole which there are the rotting corpses of some really disgusting things outside, and you were like, I'm not going in that way. let's try the front door. And you were surprised to see that no one seem to have approached that or stayed very long at all, and so you began knocking on the door. And that's it.
Okay.
I
Come
really thought
in.
that.
Yeah, come in, friend. Come in. It's cold out there. It's warm. It's warmer in here. Come.
Yeah, I think I take a quick appraisal of everyone and obviously come in because it's colder outside than they are untrustworthy at this moment, right?
Cool. Now, you have no knowledge, Guillem, at all of the significance of this tomb. Just that it is a tomb, so it probably has some significance, but it's not like you're putting two and two together whenever you see Snowfall and Sir Chide. You're like, just... It's an old dude and maybe his daughter. But you do see that it's fairly obvious that everyone has been through some recent shit in a big way, right? Like Halifax is the only one that's actually looking healthy at all. And then you actually, when you're taken down, you see the body of Aelfric there. It was definitely looking at you just with that look at his
friends.
We've propped him up like Weekend at Bernie's.
I sort of look around and, like I said, ask, whatever terrible thing has befallen you. Quick question. Does Sir Chide, on first blush, look like he has more authority than Halifax?
Only in his age. Only in his age, but...
Would there be any reason I would direct my conversation to Chide rather than Halifax?
No, you would definitely. Halifax looks like the most healthy and is the one who's definitely doing more.
So I asked that. Yeah.
Yes. We were here on urgent business. There were dangers below. We escaped, but lost one of our numbers. I see that you are a man of the church. This is perhaps a delicate matter, but this is the what? We didn't kill anyone. I'm not going to kill him. He's of the church.
Ixnay on the Airy Fae.
Yes, but this is, I know this may be difficult to believe, but this is Sir Chide himself. We have through adventure and bravery and good luck, been able to restore him to life, along with his lady love here.
John.
Yeah.
Would I know Sir Chide does?
You would have heard the vaguest of legends,
Okay. So oh yes, Sir Chide. I kind of walk over friendly. I'm not like mocking, right? But I'm sort of like I put a sort of like a gentle hand on Sir Chide's shoulder and I say, under the one true God, we all walk a grand path, do we not? Clear that I don't really believe he's Sir Chide, but I believe that he believes he's Sir Chide. You know what I mean?
Sure. He smiles, and he's wise enough to sort of pick up on what you're throwing out there too. So he kind of looks at you with sort of a condescending smile as well, and he kind of clasps shoulders with you as well, and he says, I too am a little bit overwhelmed by the situation, my son, and I do understand your reticence to believe Master Swinny's tale. But the truth or fiction of it is now no longer at issue. We have more pressing matters at hand. But he turns to both Argus and Halifax and he says, your friend here, we need everyone we can, every able-bodied we can to get out of here. Correct? We want to take everyone out and back to civilization. Yet there he lies.
I would love to adventure deeper into this mysterious tomb I've just now entered. What say you, friends?
Argus looks down on poor Aelfric and feels his jaw in the extreme pain, and it's like, well, Aelfric is probably better off sleeping through this pain, but let's wake him up. Come on, what's one more wafer? if something happens, it'd be better if he could run than us carrying him.
Wafer.
You know he would agree.
What
We
would
know
a wafer do for his condition?
with the spirit right now, and I guarantee he would agree with this statement.
On a meta level, I just want Mike to be part of the game.
I see. I just want to point out that again, this is a very strange thing I walked into.
Yeah.
In front of me, Argus, giant dent in his helmet, and like distended jaw, is suggesting that we're gonna just give a wafer to a corpse on the ground.
Argus,
a wafer? How will a wafer help your poor companion?
Observe the power of the great one. He'll get down on his knees next to Aelfric with the prayer book. He'll open it up to a good passage about healing and the power of faith, and he'll put a wafer in Aelfric's mouth, and he'll read the prayer aloud. And lo and behold,
whoop! Up he pops.
Up he pops.
I sit up, I scream in pain, and I go, "Dogs! There's dogs everywhere!"
I told you not to do that. It was better before.
It is well.
Be praised.
Wow.
His arm is at an unnatural angle. Guillem, the first thing you also noticed too was whenever Argus pulled the spell book out of his, the prayer book out of his pack, is the exquisite workmanship, the gold leaf paper and all the gold leaf sheets of paper and everything.
Yeah, I think I have an immediate curiosity about the Peleatic text in front of me, essentially, right? As well as these divine wafers, yeah. Oh, my. In the true spirit of... Is it Asaya?
Asaya, yeah.
How do you pronounce it? It is Asaya.
Mm-hmm.
I just need a second, guys. I'll be right back.
Sure thing.
Sure. Yeah. A miracle is before us. Please, may I see that text? I would ask Argus if you were here.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity. Knowing that, like, I speak, right? Not scripture, liturgic, right? So I might be able to actually... Didn't you say this was... I don't know, was this in common? I vaguely remember us not being able to read
It was actually like a version of the Vulgate, which a condensed version of the Vulgate. So it was written in Old Woldish because that's when it was made. But it was written for the common people. It was a prayer book, right? So it was something that someone could just carry around or would sit in the pews, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we've shown you the scroll yet because we also
the scroll is something completely different. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Please, may I look at that? What a lovely devotional.
It's all right. You can let him see the book.
Paging through it, you see that it is definitely something that is made for the common man, but is also so exquisitely valuable that it was, it's more of something that would have been not handed out to the common person. It would have been kept in the back. In the sacristy.
As a friar,
yeah.
I guess I could determine this on my own. I think as sort of like a friar who would be more of a man of the people, I think I would both be impressed by this and kind of maybe find it moderately vulgar in its opulence. Is that fair?
Yes, that's true.
Right?
This would be...
okay, interesting. Yes, I prefer a truer, a more humble deliverance.
I want to observe him. I want to observe him and see if he actually seems to be able to read the text.
Yeah,
a lot of friars couldn't.
It's written in Old Woldish, so it can be pretty much interpreted by most of you. The general gist of things. Did you actually take liturgical as a language, Guillem?
I start with Woldish liturgical and an alignment language as my languages.
Okay, great. Then
if I understood correctly. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So,
also, whether it's worth saying now or not, in addition to the things we rolled, is it okay if I purchase a couple items and just say I have them on my person?
Yeah.
Legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I have cooking pots because obviously I have cooking pots. I'm a friar.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I bought a whistle because how could I not buy a whistle in honor of dear Snell?
Piece of advice for you here, though, David. Put this one on a string around your neck so you don't have to drop weapons.
Well, this is you read my mind, by the way, which is that I wanted to have it on a string around my neck now. So yes,
okay,
exactly.
Cool. So I guess Princess Snowfall says, "Is there a place in mind where we should bed down for the night?" Then
I'm curious to see what's in Chide's tomb right now. Actually,
Yeah.
Can I
Right,
just ask too? We have the floating parents coming to crash the party. Do we
the
need
floating
that?
the floating what?
Oh, that's true.
oh boy.
Who's asking that?
Come on, Chide.
Her or him?
Him.
We
Let's
can-
go visit the main tomb chamber there.
Let's
then.
go around, friends. There's a place in the far back. It's safe. It's much warmer than this. We can rest there safely, I believe. I feel fine. I can keep watch. I can keep us safe. We can rest there. Be strong after this rest, and we can be on our way.
Of course,
with
you don't
much more vigor in the morning.
You don't need to convince us. Lead us. But as you're sort of like leading them along the path, he's like looking back. But what did the magic user say about floating parents?
Oh, never mind about that. They nothing to worry about.
All right then. Snowfall's like, come along, dear.
I've seen things, man.
Yeah,
I would like to poke my eye in there and see if the rift has closed, though.
The slime rift.
The slime rift, yeah.
You open the double doors, and you can see that the rift is still there. The slime is still pouring through.
Okay.
And you see that
Our coffin. Yeah, what happened to our makeshift coffin plug thing that we made?
the coffin is still floating up there. You didn't do anything to the skeletons, right? They're still around.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're still dancing. And when you poke your head in, they're like, "Come, join us." They say.
No, we're good right now. We're good.
All right, yeah, I'll close those up again and just keep going.
Okay.
I'm in
I really
shock.
thought that rift.
So remember, this is the key. You got to put yourself in Chide's. First of all, you know that Snowfall doesn't know anything about this place. Chide, however, though, when you met him, was in his tomb, sealed away.
Yeah.
Right behind his hounds. Right. And he could not leave that chamber as long as the ring was, not with him. So he has no knowledge of what has sprung up around him. He doesn't know anything about his family being there, what has happened to his mother and father, that sort of thing. So you kind of have to be a little bit careful about what you mention, unless you're prepared for his reaction.
Does he remember meeting us when he was a ghost, or is he just like
he remembers? Yeah, yep. I think he remembers. He remembers.
Because
Everything.
we did talk about
We talked about the parents. That's why I mentioned it.
You mentioned the parents. Okay.
Yeah.
We did, but that's why I said that I just poked my eye. Like I didn't open. The
No,
door.
I know. Yeah, I'm just talking about his general reaction to hearing about the parents. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All
right. So where do you bed down?
Yeah, so we want to go back around through the chamber with the mirror that's turned around, through the statuary hall and around up to the top, and then go through the Chythain and Flager door. We say the password again to open that door, and actually in the room with the painting and the
so you actually want to rest in his tomb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
There's a door there that we can close. There weren't any signs of the worms digging through the floor or anything. At least there weren't before.
So,
okay, so yeah, Sir Chide he looks with a sad smile at the two statues of his dogs as you pass by it. He looks in wonder at the once mold-covered mural that had depictions of him. He's looking at the mosaic that had a depiction of him, and he's just sort of flabbergasted about, all these apparent legends that have sprung up around him. You know what I mean? It's just, he's kind of faced with his own fame that he wasn't really tuned into the fact that he had, right? Snowfall at Dusk is also likewise impressed. But they understand the circumstances, so they will go into the tomb with you. However, this is the place where he was, it's a very odd situation. I mean, he's looking at his own grave, right?
Should we not sleep in the room with the dogs rather than going to the tomb?
There's no door. It'll be closed. The skeletons go through there too. Like they loop around through there on that big circuit, because they go into this the statuary hall, so they have to go through that door.
They're fine with it.
Also,
they're okay. I mean, he's just uncomfortable. That's all.
It seems mean. I'm just saying, it seems mean. Excuse me.
I mean, he's at least knows the place. It's familiar to him. I would think he'd be okay with it, as long as
He's not okay with it, but he's willing to do it. It's fine. He's just uncomfortable. That's all. But he's a polite man, and he's not going to fight you on it.
Are there bones in his coffin?
Yeah. That's where Aelfric looted his bracelets off of. But he knows that he knows that you did that. He allowed you to do that.
Right, but it didn't disappear when he was.
No.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
Oh, that's tricky.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
that is.
Yeah. So his body is still there. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like what's actually going on.
Okay.
So there is once again you can bed down. There is a hanging portrait here. Once again, Snowfall Dust stares at herself. Even more lifelike portrait of herself painted, standing amidst a stone circle, which is very similar to the stones that are outside the tomb.
Yeah.
She goes, I do not remember this. It was an artistic interpretation, my dear, not meant to reflect anything you actually did. And there are 4 4-foot tall silver candlesticks that are tarnished. Did I say two before? What did I say before?
I think 16 is the number.
16, yeah. We'll say 4. 4 silver candlesticks. They are tarnished and blotchy, but look like they would be worth quite a lot if they were cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
So, you sleep, correct?
I think it'd be more accurate to say Argus passes out.
Right. Okay. So everyone, mark off a ration.
Is there anything to burn in here for a campfire and all the rest of that? Can we do
There's no place for the smoke to get out.
No
We
ventilation.
talked about that before. We
Okay.
suffocate.
So did everyone mark off a ration?
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay. And then you will also have to mark off 2 additional rations, assuming you're going to allow Chythain and Snowfall to eat as well.
I'm down to 4 guys, so
I will gladly feed both of them.
Okay.
Let me. I'll do 1, and you can do 1.
Okay, fine.
Great. And
can I take the -3 off my character now?
yes, in the morning you wake up you wake up undisturbed. You all pass out like the dead. The only ones who don't really have a great sleep is Snowfall and Chythain. But you wake up and you feel mightily refreshed from a good night's sleep in this very morbid place.
Do I get a hit point back?
Yes, so everyone gains a hit point. Ted, all of your penalties, your -3 stuff is all gone.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone gains a hit point.
Can I take Argus and Halifax aside real quick while we're doing this?
Yeah.
And before we settle down for the night and type thing and be like, I feel some responsibility for these 2 people.
Yeah.
We can't very well turn them out into the world without a penny or a farthing while we loot their tomb.
I was thinking the same thing. Like those dresses, I don't think we can sell them. I think they're hers, right? I mean,
they're hers, and like that kind of stuff. But I mean, they could also sell them. People can cut them up for the silk or whatever. But I guess my point is let's get back to town, right? We figure out what we've got, and then we should break them off like an amount so that they can go and start and have a life, right? Like,
well, I completely agree, and I've been thinking about this. I think that I would like to extend an offer for them to live at House Harrimore, where they would be safe, they would be well taken care of, they would be revered, and
way safer than back at Castle Brackenwold.
Exactly.
Not that's my business because my character knows nothing about this, but
yeah.
Is their identity something you actually want to be known?
I think
that kind of defeats the purpose of what we just did, because everyone will be on them immediately, and they won't have the freedom that we gave them the wish for, and it may instigate conflict.
Right.
I know that's a meta combo, but like that seems hyper dangerous to me.
That's legit.
Like, I think they need anonymity, but
I think she needs to remain anonymous for sure.
Yeah,
but he might want to, Ted.
What's that?
He might want to as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he might want to. Because, that's a
choice. But I'm just saying is we should break off like a portion of like whatever we get. Like we're talking about like packing up his candlesticks and all the rest of the stuff that's adorning his tomb. And I'm like,
well, let's ask.
Yeah. We're going to set them. No, completely agree. Yeah.
Let's you guys got to start over in life. You don't want to live here. Let's take all this stuff. We can sell it in town, give you some money. You guys can start out again, not as penniless vagabonds. What do you say?
That is
Let's have that conversation with
that was hypothetical, John. We haven't actually asked.
Okay, you're still discussing. Okay.
But we're going to now, John. Would House Harrimore, would its history have gone back that far? Would he recognize that name at all?
It's a very old name, yeah.
Okay.
But maybe they just want to live in Prigwort, Matt.
I mean, we can offer that to them, but I mean,
let's have a conversation with them real quick about, hey, we're going to take all this stuff out of your tomb, but this should be the bride price for you to go forth and set. It's not doing anyone any good here. Let's get it back to town. We'll sell it all off. You guys will get the money so that you can go and lead your life. And while we're walking with them, or assuming that we make it to town and we're not eaten by kobolds, but while we're walking to town, we can tell them like Brackenwald, Harrowmore, Prigwort. These are the things that we know. If he's like a noble, the only thing he knows how to do is probably fight, right? So he's probably just going to be like a guard or a mercenary or something anyway. Or I don't know, maybe he's going to go beat up.
He's an old
you,
man, though.
You could just ask him.
Yeah, let's just ask him.
You could actually have the conversation with him instead of talking about what the conversation will be about.
Halifax definitely would. Like, the way I see it, Halifax wants to pick this guy's brain. He's a hero to him. He feels like he's kind of taking on his mantle. So that night, I think it's going to be hard for him to let him sleep. But in the morning when they wake up, as we've discussed, I feel such a responsibility for you, and I want you and our lady here to have the very best of life. I want to set you up as best we can. We're going to take the trappings of this tomb. We're going to sell them. And we're going to, as whatever you wish, I can set you up. I'm a proud member of House Harrimore. We could set you up there, Prigwort, whatever you wish, wherever you wish to make your desire.
Where are you actually from, Sir Chythain?
It's so long ago now, but the name Harrowmore I remember. That is a very generous offer, Master Swinney, and we will gladly accept your generosity to help us get back on our feet in this new world. But to hear that House Harrimore still exists is a good thing. These old bones now are not going to be as effective as they once were, but I do remember that I liked dogs back in the day. I loved my hounds, Chythain and Flager, and it would be a good thing if House Harrimore still keeps hounds. Perhaps I could enter into service in some sort of capacity in that manner. That would be a quiet, good life, I think, which is all I require, that I and my wife require.
I will do everything in my power to set you up as such. That sounds like a noble and peaceful life for you.
So Princess Snowfall, look, she kind of has her arm around Sir Chythain, and she's also nods in agreement, but you can see there's a little bit of fire in her eyes, a little bit more, and she's fine with that. But what she's worried about, she says, I still harbor a fear though of my father, and I myself know about his lingering. More than anyone here, understand my father and what his desires are, and his thirst for vengeance and for dominion over Dolmenwood has never lessened. And I know that, of course, just by the mere fact that he has not returned, and that you do not speak of him as if he still holds dominion here, that the banishment has remained in effect. But I, for one, would like to know how strong that ward actually is, to know that just steps away from my prison was a portal to the mortal realm, which, albeit probably was not accessible by my own kin, or what were once my kin, is still disturbing. It would be... I too desire just a quiet life with my husband. I desire no adventure. But these are answers that are worth seeking. And I can think, of course, no one better. I don't know anybody else than to ask you. You have your own lives to live, of course, but you are men of that seek things out, that seek answers. And if this is one of the great problems of our time, this is one of the great issues that you may be facing in the present time, is how strong that ward is and what the nature of it is. And as I told you back in the tower, that it was the Triple Compact 800 years ago, soon after my banishment that caused, soon after my imprisonment that caused the banishment of my father and his minions from the realm, the key element of which was the Droon. If the Droon still exist, she kind of looks at you beseechingly, they would probably hold the answers to what the nature of that ward actually is and what's holding them and how strong it actually is. So, if you desire answers in that realm, you should talk to the Droon. And I know that is not an easy task. They were not an easy people to deal with even in my time. And Sir Chythain sort of nods as well. But should you find reason to, or decide that this is a worthy cause, you could probably, the easiest way to draw the Droon's attention is to approach one of the many nodal stones that dot the landscape here in the wood. For they guard them all.
Funny you should mention that. There's a ring right outside the door with Droon, got Droon written all over it, and I don't know what your knowledge of these things is, but maybe you could look at it and say, oh, that's a very strong ward, or that's a failing ward, or something like that.
Well, that if it is the ring that is here, and she points to her portrait,
yeah,
and she says that it is definitely something that was raised by the Droon and is sacred to them. But these the nodal stones that I speak of are much larger things, large, monolithic, single stones that usually rest at the confluence of ley lines or along one of the ley lines.
I look troubled. Stay silent and go like this.
Yeah.
Are they obsidian black, and do apes often kill each other at the field?
Right.
Brigwark is ours. Attempt no landing there.
She says, I overheard your conversation last night, though, but I do think it would be wise, don't you think, Chai, that our true natures, and she smiles over at Guillem, and believe what you will, brother. But rest assured, this will probably put your mind at ease that we should go by different names. We have talked it over while you all slept at night, and we have determined that I will henceforth go forth as Gwendolyne, and Sir Chythain here will go forth as Chythain. We are new names. And Chythain sort of speaks, jumps in, and he says that Gwendolyne was the name of the Duchess of Brackenwood, to whom I was sworn so many years ago. And he smiles. So he smiles over at her. So from henceforth, they would appreciate your discretion in never mentioning their past history, their actual true past history. You know what I mean? And to refer to them only by that name. Chythain also, lastly, before you decide what you'd like to do here in the tomb, says that should he feel his oats again, should he get settled again and feels the need for adventure, he would dearly like to visit the shrine of St. Sedge, who he was dedicated to, and why there's a chapel of his raised in his tomb. It was such a long time ago, and it was during the times too, and he's crestfallen to hear that the shrines have since disappeared or fallen into ruin or hidden in the intervening years. But there was once a beautiful shrine somewhere in a thick fen, somewhere along the upper Hamath River, somewhere far north of the falls of Neon.
What was the shrine that we found on our way here?
I was going to ask the same thing. We found
St. Fogarty.
Fogarty. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I had it written
Good
down.
saint. Good saint.
Yeah. Oh, Fogarty. Yeah. Okay. So where
I'm
did he
assuming
say
I
the
would have
shrine
no.
was, John? Near the what? He said, where was it?
He said all he can remember is that it was somewhere along the banks of the upper Hamath River in a fen far to the north of the falls of Neon.
Oh, I see it.
That's pretty far away, yeah.
I'll admit I don't know what a fen is.
Swamp. Swamp.
Yeah, there's something you do with like brackish versus freshwater versus acidic versus basic. There's actual terms for it, but don't worry about it. It's a swamp.
Anyway, I see it. It's just to the, if you guys are looking at the map, it's just to the west of like Fort Vulgar.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And the Lake Longmere, like the northern part of Lake Longmere feeds into there.
Yep.
That's a pretty good distance, and it takes us pretty close to the Nagwood.
He said it was somewhere.
Head out to the giant tentacles, take a right.
Whoa.
Somewhere.
Actually, looking at this map, did you guys notice starting at Red Wraith Manor, there's a ring of standing stones that curls all the way around to Fort Vulgar?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Isn't that something?
Look at that.
I don't even know. No, I don't see what you're saying.
So,
Yeah, there it is. I see it.
yeah, and that puts Horblight Keep right at the center of that standing stone ring.
I wonder
sure
if there's anything
everything's
in the
fine.
center.
I'm sure everything's fine. That's not the crater that Lake Longmere or anything like that, Okay.
So watch my dot. Watch my dot. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the Falls of Neon.
Yeah.
He said it was far to the north upon the banks of the Upper Hamath
Yep.
Oh, wow. Way up there. Okay.
Yeah.
in a fen. So just be aware that it's
That's a trip.
yeah, it's a trip.
That sounds like a level 4 adventure.
Ooh.
That sounds like
Hey,
something
guys.
we better do in the summertime when
Yeah.
sleeping outside doesn't kill you.
Let's leave this place and get out of here. Come on.
Yeah.
TikTok. I have 2 hit.
Okay, so here's the
I have
deal.
a-
John,
Hold on.
did that night sleep? Did that night sleep cure my arm?
Oh
No. I'll let you know when you're long term stuff. I've got a date written down, but it's in terms of days, if not weeks. Similar to the rot. All right. Here's the deal. I have a list of things that you should have. Okay, but I want to know what else you are bringing with you.
right.
You have decided not to engage with the skeleton, who are both wearing lovely pieces of jewelry. There is there's actually like 3 bulky sort of art items that I have to know like how you're doing it. There is the portrait. There is the 4 silver candlesticks, which are 4 foot tall sticks, right? They're not just like little 4 foot tall. And there is the mirror, which also has to be delicately handled, not only for its fragility, but also its powers.
Right.
Right.
Mirror is the most important thing in my list.
In addition, what you have on you, okay, there is the silver revelator you found in the box, which is worth 50 gold. I may have misspoken last time, but I double checked in the adventure. The animated silver revelator. Do you have that?
We're gonna I think we should take that whole sack of animated things with us.
It should be noted that the silver revelator of those things would look to be much more ornate and valuable than the one that was in the box. There was the prayer book with gold leaf.
Yep.
The copper bracelets with owls with amethyst eyes. And then
Aelfric. Right.
there's the ring, which Sir Chythain is wearing, which is obviously a very much thing that will have to be discussed. And then there is the Princess Snowfall's treasure, which is 30 ice jewels, 12 fairy silver necklaces, and a large thumb-sized sapphire set in a platinum brooch. As well as you are all wearing, 3 of you are wearing fur coats, winter wolf coats, and you have 19 for some very sad reason, scintillating gowns.
Man.
So
Whoa.
that matches up with my
What the heck?
tally con. Right?
That was terrifying.
Whoa.
That's
That Baxter?
real.
I must go to bed.
Hey, Bax.
I'm going to go tuck in this monster.
All right, sounds
All right.
good.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
But
And then
don't
set up a ward.
for the for the painting to make it easier to carry. Halifax is going to propose we take it out of the frame, like turn it around, roll it up, so we can carry it without the bulky.
Oh, that's really bad for paintings, right?
Yes,
It is really bad for paintings.
Yeah, every art heist ever, they do that.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
All right, I'll be back in a bit.
Okay.
Okay. I would volunteer to go walk back to our campsite and get our stuff and come back with the mule. Now, I think on the mule, carrying the random stuff is no problem. The candlesticks should be no problem. We should be able to tie those 2 to a side to the the cargo tree that we have on the back of the mule. The mirror.
That mirror, dude. The mirror's gonna
Yeah,
be
I don't know about the mirror. And then, of course, the painting, I guess, at our best judgment, is the value in the painting, or is there still also value in the frame?
No, it's all the value is basically in the painting.
Okay. So we're ignoramuses. I guess we could go ahead and cut up a painting and roll it up. So that's fine.
Somebody works at a museum.
It does need to be
Oh God! You did this on purpose. You're cruel.
It does need to be restored to have value. So similar to the candlesticks, it needs a little bit of work.
Let's get that lady in Spain that did that fresco.
Oh, most important. That's hilarious. Most important of all of these objects is the mirror by far. So how are we going to transport the mirror?
Yeah. So
How heavy is the mirror?
What's that?
How heavy is the mirror?
I think you said 2 people could carry it, maybe, John, but I can't recall. I vaguely remember.
It's definitely a 2-person thing. I don't have an exact little weight thing here, but it could be rigged onto the mule.
But I thought maybe we could try to rig it, or I think we should sheath it, right?
Here's my question then, John. With a little, picking up carefully and so on, would we guess that the mirror is roughly equal to the weight of 4 candlesticks? And then that would be balanced on the mule?
Oh, yeah. We don't have to go into that much detail. It's just more of it's more like, even though you could technically, with 2 hands kind of have it over your back, but you can't trudge through snow-laid wilds, for miles upon miles. It has to be put onto a pack animal. That's all I'm asking is how you guys are going to get. Yeah.
So I say we wrap it up in blankets.
Yeah.
Tie it to one side of the mule, mirror side in.
Why don't we use the gowns to?
Yeah, let's use the gowns to wrap it. I agree.
The what? Oh, the gowns
and the paintings
because they're worth $100 or 100 gold pieces a piece, and.
So I guess my point is there, though, Ted, is as long as the silk comes back, no one's gonna be able to wear a dress for a 6'2" woman. She was 6'2" when she had those dresses made.
Yeah, okay. I mean, she could wear them, but yeah.
But for Ethel, you did buy one of those trees, right? One of those.
Yes. Absolutely, we have the cargo rack.
Okay, so that's got it's got ties and rope and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we'll be okay.
Yeah,
is what John said.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means we could take all the jewels, all the silver, mirror, painting, both the silver revelators, and all the other small items we found.
Assuming you have saddlebags and/or sacks and all that sort of stuff, then yes.
We have saddlebags for my horse, assuming it's still there, and.
Then yeah, you're fine. You're fine because you can just strap the oversized items to the mule and then carry everything else in your packs and bags.
I am overseeing them rifle through all this stuff and discuss it. I'm assuming, so I have an awareness of it, and I'm not just sort of in the clouds. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
So yeah, I'll happily go get the mule and the horse and come back.
May I take a look at the divine scroll, assuming that's what it is?
You can.
Oh yeah, let's see if I can
see them. Yeah,
You unfurl the scroll and you see that written in old liturgic script, a little tough to decipher, but it is clearly a prayer to hold person.
I go, oh, how interesting! Rap, 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 stuff. It kind of goes in one sleeve and just sort of disappears. Right, you have no idea.
Thank you very much. Very cool.
Oh, we also have the brass sheet from the book.
Yes. I don't know if that was worth anything.
No, but it might be something we could give to the bishop at some point. Just be like, hey, we recovered this. You never know what'll impress him.
Sure. Guys, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
One moment.
Okay. So, all right. So you grab all that stuff, and then Argus is. Are you going to go back to camp together, or Argus, you going alone?
I'll go with him.
Okay.
Okay. So Argus and Aelfric go get the campsite packed up, and bring back the steeds.
And Halifax can come with us now that he's here too.
I shall.
So, give me one moment here.
Great. Something ate our horse and our mule. We're screwed.
Absolutely.
Ethel's gone.
I don't know yet, but John's
Yeah.
like he looks like a man rolling a wandering monster
Well,
encounter.
the friar just wandered through our camp. Did he mention that if there was a mule there or not?
Well, half a mule. Ugh.
Wait, the left half or the right half?
He's eating mule jerky.
I'm going to say that
Yeah.
I'm going to say that Guillem did not actually encounter your camp. He actually followed your You followed your tracks, like he came upon your tracks leading from the camp, basically, because of what's about to occur to you. Yes. So
can it be good?
when you actually exit outside, I do need you to indeed roll for weather, please. So roll 2d6.
Shall I do it?
I got it. I got it.
Got it? All right.
All right.
Go ahead. Do it.
Mike's fault. Whatever happens.
6.
Oh.
6. Okay. A frigid and icy day.
The storm called Horse Killer has struck.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, so it's now the 24th of Limewald, yeah?
You exit outside and you see that the snow, for whatever reason, has even though it's extremely cold out, the snow most of it has melted on the ground, but it's very, very cold out. And when you make your way, you see the twitching weirdness still there on the altar, the stones. The owls still turn to look at you once again as you exit back out from the southern side of the clearing and go back to your camp. Back at camp, you see that the little tiny little arch is still in the middle there, and your horse and mule. What?
We didn't camp near the arch. We specifically made a point of not camping near the arch.
Oh, okay. I don't know where you camped then. Wherever though, your camp.
You just gave us a random campsite that was safe.
Okay,
Because
fine.
we wanted to be away from that stuff.
We didn't know what that arch was
Not
about.
part of. Doesn't matter. You're
Okay.
camping, and you get back, and your horse and your mule are there, but they are shivering in the cold. They are laying down, breathing heavily. They've got frostbite on some of their extremities, and it looks really, really bad. It looks like they are near death.
See, this is what Argus was worried about when he wanted to go back to the camp before we jumped down the pit. But okay, so
It looks like that the undergrowth around them has basically been scoured completely of any sort of vegetation.
I'm going to light a fire right
How
now.
many days were we there? How many days were we in there?
One, but they haven't had. They've been hobbled with not enough food and no warmth. So.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's something more than that. The lack it is not the same amount of snow on the ground is much, much less than would account for a day's worth.
Ooh.
Oh, we went to Ferry, didn't we?
I wondered if that would happen. Oh, crapola. All right, I'm still going to light a fire, John. And we'll get, there's firewood on Ethel's pack, so I'll just light a fire immediately.
Yeah,
Okay.
I take my bedroll,
we
my
have-
blanket, and I put it over.
Some snow for them to drink.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we may not have great animal husbandry skills, but everything we know we'll do to try and revive and
I'll take off the fur coat and put it over Ethel.
Okay.
What's going on?
yeah, we can. Our steeds are very cold and ill-fed, and there's a possibility we might have been underground for a lot longer than one day.
Is it just your horse, or are all of our horses there?
We only
We brought a horse.
we brought Ethel and a horse.
Yeah, because
Well,
I thought
I
we
mean,
don't need more than one carrying thing to get back.
Okay.
So have you guys asked what day it is?
We have not.
I would presumably know, having just encountered you and being in the
This is
outside
true.
world.
Yeah, I guess when we get back to the camp and see this, Friar, what day? What day is it?
March 13th, 2022.
Oh my God.
I bring out an iPad.
So
with the good word.
You know, of course, Guillem, that it is, of course, it's, why are you asking? It's the 28th of Limewald.
Oh,
Crap.
Oh,
When do we go in?
man.
It's the Feast of St. Egort. You are desperate to point out. Probably.
Indeed I am. Indeed I am.
Oh, poor Ethel.
That is the last day of Limewald. And you also know that tomorrow, which is Keye, which is the first of Hagrim, that there is a chance of Vague occurring, the unseason of Vague. Don't forget to.
Okay.
The way you say it makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go at this point? We're probably just going to have to nurse these animals for a day or maybe two, right? Before they can do anything, if they even survive, right?
Yeah.
You've got healing stuff.
That's true. We do.
Could give them wafers.
Yes.
Or balsam. They love balsam, I bet.
Well, balsam you have to do right after you.
Oh, that's
anyway. While they're doing that, while they're discussing, I'm going to go back to the tomb, and I will say, "Hey, everybody, come with me. We're gonna set up camp. We're gonna probably, our animals are sick, kind of thing. Come on, so we can all be together. I don't like being in like two different groups. So we'll bring everything that we can carry back to the camp: candlesticks, paintings, all the rest of that junk.
Mm-hmm.
How far away?
You should stay with the camp because you can't carry anything.
Yeah, your arms. Yeah, take care of the animals.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you the wafers. If you decide to use them, that's what you've decided.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to give each one of the animals one wafer, John.
Oh, he decided.
Quick question.
Okay, there we go.
Hold on. Quick question prior to that. Remind me again how much the wafers heal. I do have 2 doses of Spirit Name.
1 point each.
1 point each.
What?
Yeah.
What are we asking? The wafers? 1 point.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to determine what's more valuable, the doses I have of Spirit Name or the wafers.
I mean,
I don't know what Spirit Name is, but
it gives me 1d2 HP healing. It's a dose that I can apply, but I only have 2 of them.
But you can. They're better, but the only thing is that only the person who gets it, that's the only one that they can take per day. You can only benefit from Spirit Name once a day.
1 per person per day.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. But I can use one. I can use 1 dose to administer twice. Can I not? Because I'm a friar, and my herbalism skill allows me to basically double the efficiency of doses. Is that incorrect? Or so I'll read it real quick. Unless doesn't count as an herb. Is this an herb? Herbalism, the enhanced friar, a single dose of an herb is sufficient for 2 subjects.
That's right. So it's not that one person could benefit from it twice. It's more that 1 dose could benefit 2 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's
So if we have 2 animals, one of these
that.
doses would benefit both.
That is correct.
So I'm suggesting that maybe I use one of these, even though they're more valuable than the wafers. It'll go further.
I agree. I think that's
Okay.
good.
In addition to that, I also have some Wormspittle's herbal admixture, which would give for a day of complete rest, gives 1 extra hit point.
Right. But that's only.
5.
Yeah, that's a complete, convalescence, right? That's like where you do nothing else during the day except rest, which is where you gain.
We're gonna do that, dude. So save that for now. So while they're going back to the tomb, I will move the horses to a new place where there's grass. We've got a fur coat on each one of them. And do we have like mash or bran or oats or anything like that? Otherwise, I'll just warm up water. And
we
so
don't have horse fodder. No, we've just been letting them graze.
So then I'll just give them not boiling water, warm water, because that will help warm their internal temperatures.
Okay. All right. And are you giving them the Spirit Name?
I am, but
waiting for them to come back, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the friar's actually. Well, maybe he's with us. It doesn't matter. Yeah, we're going to give him Spirit Name.
In any case, is there a way to roll a custom die roll, or it might be an idiot? How would I do 1d2? Roll a d4
Or
and
D6 and split it in half.
d6 split in half? That wouldn't make sense. Wouldn't it be a d4 split in half?
You can roll anything that's even sided, and just say 1/2 of it is 1, and the other half is 2.
Oh.
Odds and evens.
Right.
Anything.
Turns out that's intelligence.
What is this math magic that you're talking about?
Okay. I'm gonna roll a d4 real quick. 1 to 2 is 1, and 3 to 4 is 2.
There you go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so the first one gets 1 HP. And
Well, no,
it's
no. It's just 1. They each gain 1 because you're giving 1 dose, which is good enough for two animals.
Okay.
Right, but that's a good thing, right? It's just that you don't roll separately. So they each gain 1 hit point. It does actually allow them to like stand up and sort of shiver in the cold. But your ministrations have definitely helped. You may have to think twice about fully loading the mule, which is probably what you would end up doing with everything that you want to put on there. So you might have to rethink that a little bit, but it can definitely handle some stuff, and the horse will be fine, especially since you can't really ride it through wilds. You would have to lead it anyways.
Right.
Can we make a oh shoot, I forget the name of it. It lets you drag along
Sledge.
Yeah. To lighten, so he's not having to carry stuff. It's just like pulling
It's
stuff.
the same amount of weight, dude. It's in the end, it's the same amount of weight, right?
Well, no, if you're pulling stuff instead of like on you, I think it's different. But I don't know how.
Yeah, throughout the wilds, it's going to be dragging through bracken and brambles and stuff.
Well, is our intent to try to camp for a day or two and try to restore these animals further? And with that in mind, does my ability to forage, 1, and 2, use my cooking pots, perhaps help in that endeavor? Or
so
I mean, that's what happens to Argus if we try to camp out here.
Yeah, if we camp outside every night, it's like 1 tip closer.
4 days, guys. I can survive 4 days.
There's nothing that a pile of fur coats will do to prevent. I mean, like logically speaking, if you have a couple furs on Argus, that would make you very warm.
I've already done everything I can do.
Okay.
I just have a crappy con score.
What was the con score again? Thank you.
All right, listen up. So it's you've done this before out in the cold, where I've given you a benefit on the chart for thinking, smart and finding. I think you did it by huddling against each other or something like that. They would definitely benefit. It would benefit if you had fur coats in addition to what you already have. Cooking, having cooking pots is essential for the cooking part of camping, right? It would actually allow the person who is cooking having the proper utensils and then also the proper materials, which you can do as a friar with just plain old iron rations. You can actually dream up something awesome, and then you can make a wisdom check. And if you succeed, that gains a +1 bonus to any checks that you have to make to check for a good night's rest, which is usually a con check.
So we get a +1 from me cooking if I succeed at wisdom.
That's correct. You would also get a potential +1 from camaraderie if you tell a story.
Camaraderie. We build a fire and put some furs down. Maybe that's another. Not that this is still going to help, but I'm just saying, like, we have tools in our tool belt now.
He still has to beat it's still really low. It's still really low,
Okay, so another question: what's saying that he can't sleep in the tomb while the animals are parked right outside?
Well, I was going to say, because we only have two-person tents, and now we have 6 people, so somebody's going to have to sleep in the tomb regardless. Might as well be me, whoever wants to hang out with me.
Yeah.
Well, it should be if we're not going to start moving, like if we're definitely going to hang out here for a while and try to heal up, it should be you, the old guy, and the lady, probably the gimpy wizard too.
But the old guy and the lady don't want to sleep in the tomb anymore.
Yeah, can we bring the animals into the tomb? Is the door big enough?
Only.
Yeah, Ethel will go down. Mules will go down into dungeons if you coax them, but horses will balk.
Okay.
So we could at least. So again, all of this is just to point out that in their current state, we're limited in what they can carry, and so whatever your sort of equation involves and what's worth bringing back relates to this, right? So if there's a way for us to circumvent leaving half the ship behind, we should try to do it. Probably.
How many days away from Prigwort are we?
You're just a little bit more than a day. Yeah.
We have to camp out once.
You would have to camp out once, yeah.
Sure, because we don't have to explore on the way back, so we can go a little faster.
Mm-hmm.
So my only question then is, the thing about staying here, guys, is that we really don't have any knowledge about how long it's going to take the animals to recover and whether or not they actually even can recover while they're in this environment without
Yeah.
having, like, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
fair.
So
Yep.
it's almost the better part of valor is just to try and cowboy through
Yeah, I
and
like
get
it.
them down and get them to a farrier. I don't know, someone who can actually, help them.
Yeah.
Because right now we don't really have the tools for that. Without
Right.
camping inside the tomb for the next week. You know?
I agree. I think we
Yeah.
get moving with as much stuff as it seems like the animals can take, not overloading them. If they start to like be uncomfortable, stop. Just the minimal that they can carry. We'll carry the rest and go from there.
I mean, honestly, I think that the thing that's probably going to break the camel's back is the mirror.
Which is
Right,
the only
between
thing
two
worth
animals.
taking out of the tomb.
You can take.
Well,
I can just tell you. I mean, the mirror can be put onto the donkey. But it's basically like if that's what you want to take back, that would sort of like what do we have for the portrait's going to be rolled up, right? So that's not an issue, right?
Yeah,
So it's the can. It's basically you have a
Candlesticks,
choice. You can take the candlesticks or you can take the mirror, if you want to.
I take one of the candlesticks and just strap it to our pack, and then put the mirror on the donkey, and then just go. Right? Like we can't overload the donkey. The horse can carry like the sack of gems. That's not like a big heavyweight thing, right? It's just the candlesticks and the mirror. Those are the only things. Each one of us takes a candlestick. The mirror goes on the donkey. We're gonna have to spend one really shitty night outside, and then we get to Prigwort, assuming that we're not eaten by angry house cats.
That is the summation of things. Yes.
Yeah.
I have an idea. What if we take something that's bulky, heavy, the candlesticks or something, dip them in the goo.
Oh yeah,
The floaty goo to lighten them, so that we can just carry them like balloons.
It sounds comically amazing, but let's just go. Because frankly, remember, like the one thing is when we threw the torch through it, it only levitated for a few seconds after it was out of the goo. It's like you have to
It'll wear off.
yeah.
Do you want a question though? God, I shouldn't. We should get
We're
going.
overthinking this.
We should get going, but I have one question. I have one question, nevertheless. You have an empty bottle. You have an empty vial.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some of that goo.
Should you not bottle some of that goo? I mean, come on.
I'm totally getting some of that goo.
That's all I have to say. And then let's move. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's get the hell out of Dodge.
All right. So if each of us carries one candlestick,
time, and let's get going.
I got it. Yep. All right. So Halifax, you're going back into the tomb to get a vial of that stuff?
I'm gonna careful not to get on any on my hand.
He was never seen again.
All right. The two skeletons are sort of dancing around you, constantly asking if you'd like to join the dance. Do you do any
soon? I'm a little busy right now.
Do you do anything with the? I can't remember what it was. Some sort of cage or box that you put over the animated objects in the entrance chamber.
We put them in the box, and then we tied it to the post. Let's just take the whole thing.
Yeah, just bring because I think. I can't remember if we had a sack in the box. Yeah, so
Okay, as it's rattling and they're screaming at you to stop invading the tomb. When you go up the stairs and you exit the tomb, they just and they're quiet in the box.
Cool.
I thought they were my pals anyway.
Okay, so you make your way back to camp and you load everything up. It is a very, very sad looking group, basically. Halifax and Guillem got big, bright smiles on their faces, of course. They're feeling great. But it's terribly cold, like really cold. The only blessed thing is that there's actually no wind chill, thankfully. It's just very dead and quiet here. As you move north through the looping wood, once again, don't forget that you see the remnants of that fernjing. Sir Chythain actually mentions that, and he says, yes, I remember that there was once many trees that had many delightful variations. The men of the woodcutters' encampment. They still abide here, or is this just very old trees?
They're around. I haven't never been there.
From my studies, Sir Chythain. From my studies, Chythain, it seems that they are still there, but they're the descendants of perhaps the men that lived in Elden times that you no doubt heard of. But they are far removed from the men that used to live there and their skills.
An ancient people they are, not of our kind. hailing from ancient Bocantium, as we are, sons of the church, all. But those men of the woodcutters' encampment are of a different breed, more akin to the Droon. I came from the north. Many centuries before even I walked underneath these boughs.
A few years of living amongst the men of the Dolmen have watered their legacy.
That is a sad thing to hear. Still, it might be worth a visit. And when you guys hear that you're heading towards a place called Prigwort, he's like, Prigwort, this was nothing at all, really, just a mere crossroads in the woods. I think they set up because there was 2 roads there that converged. I remember, though, in Harrowmore lands, indeed. Must have grown.
It's quite nice now. Quite nice, yeah.
Perhaps
there are brewers there.
Perhaps, Chythain, you should start practicing hiding your knowledge of like what has happened before.
Oh, have no fear. I only do it with you because you know my past, but I will not. I will not make reference to it in the future.
Stay on the history,
yeah, you make your way through the frigid cold, and let's see what happens here. Give me a sec.
Oh Jesus!
So you're moving through tangled forest. So just explain to both you guys and the viewers here that for exploring the wild, I look at to see what the hex terrain is like. It is actually it's considered to be tangled forest, which is moderate difficulty. If you're off road and moderate difficulty, it makes your movement rate 33% slower. You are already limited to the slowest member of your group, which I believe is whoever has a 12-mile overland travel rate, correct? So reducing that by 33% reduces it down to 8 miles per day, correct?
You've packed your armor, right? You've packed your armor. You're not wearing your armor. You're walking much faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not wearing my armor, then the mule's got to carry it. The mule's carrying the heavy stuff. Easiest way to carry the armor is to wear it, my dude.
So
otherwise, it's just in a sack.
Wizard plan.
Anyways, it's you're going to move 8 miles per day, and you're going to let's see. Visibility is normal.
And
one quick question. I can't remember. I was just away for a sec. Did we also take the extra weapons from the statues of the tomb?
Would
that have overloaded us?
I think you'd probably be overloaded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're carrying, each of you carrying a candlestick, it's pretty much impossible.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to clarify, John, the 8 miles a day, that's our not exploring movement rate, right?
That's correct.
We're just walking home.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But the problem is that you have no guidepost to guide you, so there is a chance of getting lost. Can someone roll me a d6?
Okay, we got a hunter.
I'll roll the d6 in the spirit of Snell.
But surely we do have some because we came.
I got a 1. I got a 1.
Okay.
You just
8 miles a day.
I need someone to roll me 2d6.
I'll do it.
Again. Someone else do it.
I'll do it. 9.
Okay.
We went 9 miles in the wrong direction.
No, we can only go 8 miles in the wrong direction.
We got a good pace. We were feeling really good.
Yeah, that's true. The worst case scenario, we're 8 miles in the right direction because that's as far as we can go.
Right.
Hey, look, guys, we're in Brackenwald. Yay!
Could be worse, I guess.
One moment, please.
We're not going to Brackenwell.
Reticulating blinds.
Reticulating blind.
Oh,
All right, so
grinning.
Yeah, so you're moving along in the cold. You're, the breath is steaming. The horse and Ethel are just not feeling great at all, and you're just kind of plugging through. But you are loaded down with treasure. Like, oh god, just gotta get in front of that fire, the clashed antler. You're even looking forward to maybe even seeing Ostish there. Like, who cares, man? It's just seeing another friendly face would be great. Been out here for so long, and kind of daydreaming, and Chythain is sort of talking about the past and is that sort of thing, and then you come into an area that you hear let's see, what would it be like in wintertime? I have to kind of translate it for wintertime, but the fog around you, the fog starting to kind of slowly kind of creeps in as the light wanes in the west, and it seems to basically obscure everything in a very like thick, sort of bluish white vapor. It doesn't smell bad or anything like that, but you start to hear it as nighttime kind of creeps in. You actually hear like the booming croaks of toads and frogs and such and like that. And you're like, where are we? And you look around, and as the mist sort of clears away in like a gust of frigid wind, you find yourself on the lip of a large basin, like massive large basin, and before you spreads a let's see, let me just make sure I'm describing it correctly. A large mist-covered lake that basically goes as far as the eye can see in front of you, with a jagged sort of cut basin that sort of winds its way around. And you can see that as you're kind of looking out over, that there are numerous small little caves that are sort of cut into the side of this basin, right below you, that leads sloping down into the lake proper. And you can hear somewhere down below. Can't quite see it in the mist, but you see a form that is sitting cross-legged on the banks of the river, and you can hear like his back is toward you. It's definitely a male, and he's wearing sort of what you can kind of see as sort of ragtag finery, where he's sort of crouched over, and you can hear like a sound like a shik 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 at the side of the lake.
Does
Like
it sound like
gold
teeth?
sound? Like somebody panning for gold sound?
Maybe.
Or playing with a pile of bones.
It's a bag of teeth.
Ugh.
But you know that this is definitely
It's our
not.
old pal.
This you never encountered anything like this on your journey south. Like this is a huge lake that you stumbled upon.
So
I
probably
say, ho, fellow traveler. Might you know where
oh my.
we are?
Who goes up there? And he looks up, and there's a stiff, lanky man, probably in about his mid-30s, and he has like this kind of like a teenager's mustache, even though he's an older man, right? Like it's just barely growing in, you know what I mean? But he sort of looks up, and he's dressed in like courtly breeches and a jacket, and he has like a really what call it? Can't think of the words now. Askew, high powdered wig that has like the wig is like all coming apart, you know, like he's been traveling too long. And he wipes off mud, like clay mud, off of his breeches, and he's like, who is that up there? Are you a man of God?
God be praised. We have passed through a dreaded mist and found another believer. My name is Brother Guillem.
Ah.
Yours?
Brother Willem, please come down here. It's quite cold. I much desire to talk to like-minded men of the faith. Are you one of the pilgrims?
Indeed, I travel the land, spreading the word for the common man.
Well, come. You pay no attention to what I'm doing over here, of course. But if you're here to see the caves, well, you've come to the right place, of course.
It's the caves. What are they called again? My mind. Oh, it's...
Well, they go under many names. The Crystal Caves, of course. But over there, though, you see the water falls off there, and that leads to what do they call the incandescent grottos.
Interesting.
Dangerous place, but full of many wonders, I've heard.
As I quickly scroll around the map. I trot down unassumingly towards him.
Is it still daylight?
No.
No, it's almost dark. It's fading. It's like time to camp.
I trot down to him. Yes,
Okay.
Yes. Oh.
Pay attention to what he's doing. He just said not to pay attention to what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching what he's doing with his hands.
So at on the ground at his feet, basically right at the shore of the lake itself, like where it sort of laps up onto the shale here, is a panning equipment.
Yeah.
And he says, He says, I would like to introduce myself, and he bows at the waist and offers his hand to you and says, my name is Duncan MacMurlo.
Duncan MacMurlo. A name. Hold on. Let me write it down.
I got it.
MacMurlo.
A name is a blessed thing. Very
I misspoke.
within which is much power and meaning. And MacMurlo sounds like a good one, my friend.
I actually misspoke my own name.
I see. Wow.
My name is actually Duncan Mudmurlo.
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 I once knew a mud clump.
The mud clumps, well, the less we say about the mud clumps, the better.
I didn't say it, but I think we all agree.
It says, at your service, and you are...
Brother Gwendolyne.
I am Argus Denthelm.
Oh, it's quite a large party here. Well, I assume you all introduce yourselves.
Yeah.
Halifax, Winnie. Pleasure to meet you, sir. Why are you out here all by yourself? It seems a bit dangerous.
Well, I do have the honor, and he's once again like dusting off his muddy knees, and he's, I am what might be called the gentleman's gentleman, the maitre d', of the house of the Jolly Oysters Pollard of the Woodcutters Encampment. You, of course, have heard of the Jolly Oysters. You guys have no idea.
I'm sorry.
Oh, shucks, I say.
We've heard of the Woodcutters.
What is the name of that body of water behind you?
Why, this is Fog Lake, of course. This is what you are here to see, of course. The healing properties of the great crystals of Fog Lake. That's why so many come from the castle and from Prigwort to come visit. You know, if you just there is a path just to the south there. You have to go around the lake a little bit, cross over the Ransom Creek, but there is a path there that will take you right to the road, the camp road that leads from the Woodcutters Encampment to Castle Brackenwold. That is where all the pilgrims come from. Although you didn't come from the path there. You came from the west. What were you doing out in the wild, in the Looping Wood? Dangerous place out there.
We were looking for the healing powers of the beer of Prigwort, to be perfectly blunt.
Oh, you were miles away from Prigwort.
Yeah.
Tell me now, friends, that you happen upon this by accident. You're not pilgrims, are you? But
yes.
He looks over at like your wrapped package on the mule. He's like, "You're quite loaded for bear. Traders, perhaps merchants."
We're moving.
Yeah,
moving.
We are bringing the Lord's alms to the church.
Alms.
Of course.
Don't listen to him. We just met him.
Yes.
No alms. This is an alm-free zone.
It's a very all right. I can't help but think that you are dissembling, but fair enough. People come to Fog Lake for their own reasons. As long as you mean no harm, it's quite all right.
And you mentioned something about healing crystals.
Oh, indeed. So the rumor is, of course, that the crystals inside some of these caves, the russet ones, in fact, they actually degrade quite quickly, but they apparently have healing properties. You have but to touch them. But I'm after larger game, as they say. And he kind of glances down at his panning.
Yeah, well, we should leave you to it. I don't want to interrupt your larger game. Just any old cave, you just go in and...
Apparently. I don't hold any... I mean, I don't... If that was your intent, then who am I to gainsay you? I think it's all a bunch of nonsense, frankly.
Well, I was more thinking about a place to sleep.
Yeah, really, quite frankly, it's late, we're cold, and it's tired. We're looking for a safe place to make camp.
There is a roof over your head there in the caves, perhaps, but I think a poor substitute for a warm fire. But,
and where is it that you stay?
Well, I'm afraid I'm not going to. I can't let you stay with me, but I have my ways. Don't you worry. I am, after all, in the service of the Jolly Oysters Pollard.
Of course. But, I mean, isn't it quite far to the woodcutters from here?
Not as far as you think.
Oh.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, of course.
My
Should
good
you
sir,
ever
before-
happen to be in the neighborhood of the third noble house, the residence of the great Jolly Oysters, please do stop by. Call on me, and I'm sure that the Jolly Oysters will extend his hospitality to you with great vigor.
My good sir, before you depart, it is my understanding that on the road from Prigwart to Brackenwald, which we can't be far from, there is a small enclave of friars that take in travelers at night.
Indeed.
Would you perhaps know the distance to that, and whether or not we still have time to reach there tonight?
I'm afraid not. It's not that far, but the sun has already set. We will not be able to reach it in time. I'm afraid you might be stuck out here in the cold for the night. And in that case, indeed, the caves might be your best bet.
Yeah, let's get a cave, guys.
Oh, want to go to a cave?
It's all right. You've got your magic. It'll be fine. Oh,
Okay, so there is a number of caves here. You pick one that seems suitably large that you could sort of like walk into, I assume. And
Can we lure the animals into this cave, or is the horse going to?
No, they'll go. They'll find.
it's large enough.
Yeah, they're not. These aren't. When you quickly, Aelfric's fears. You kind of go into the cave and you kind of search around, but they're shallow. Like it's not like a cave system, right? That sort of thing. Although you do see as you do actually pick one that seems suitable, you can see when you're at the mouth of the cave and you look out towards the lake, you can see that there is a part that actually. There is where he indicated where some of the water of the lake itself actually dives down underground into a large hole in the ground.
I have to go. I'll be right back. Just
Sure. Which he indicates is the entrance to what he calls the marvel of Fog Lake, which is the incandescent grottos. But here you see that indeed in the backs of the cave, sort of away from where the sunlight would ever be able to hit it, there are these deep russet-colored crystals in chaotic formations here. So they're sort of ugly looking, but they're definitely like crystalline, like geode sort of thing, right? But they're not. They're not really shiny, and they're like these tight little clumps, and there's not that many of them. And you notice that the rock here in general, from which these crystals are sprouting, is rather soft and crumbly. There's like a lot of like rock detritus and dust on the ground here.
Can Argus like touch the crystals and like maybe break one off, or
Yeah, absolutely.
do they just do they feel hard like a regular crystal? You smell them; they don't smell weird or anything like that. Like they're just like crystals, right?
No, but they are. They seem like strangely unremarkable is the best way I could put it. Like most crystals have like a kind of a cool appearance to them, right? Like they draw the eye. But these are like very sort of plain looking. Like once again, they're sort of russet, like a dull red color. And when you touch them, you're able to easily pull one off of the wall. They just sort of like kunk, and they kind of break off. And actually, like a little bit of it actually chips away whenever you kind of touch it. As if it's like extremely delicate and fragile, very uncrystal-like, if you know what I mean. But they're formed in these very jagged geometric shapes, which indicates that they're crystalline.
Have I ever come across any books of magical properties of crystals or anything like that I might have studied?
No.
You should eat one.
You should eat one.
Well, I was thinking I might throw it in the fire and see what happened. I bet we get some cool colors.
No.
I think one at a time. Argus, that looks quite scrumptiddly ambitious.
He'll sniff it, give it a little taste.
It tastes very much like nothing happens. So what Merlot told you was that according to legend, like a bunch of pilgrims regularly make their way to these caves in order to sample the healing powers of these crystals simply by touching them. And you're feeling nothing basically. When you taste it, it tastes like dirt, like earth.
All right, I'll stick the one that I've recovered into my pouch and
Okay.
go to bed.
All right.
Well, first you have to have some camaraderie.
Before that, though, I mean, I don't see any reason why it would not work for Aelfric and would work for me. But given that I'm covered in plague scars, can I touch one against one of my scars and see if it has any effect on
Absolutely. Yeah. So just kind of sidle up against it. It just kind of crumbles off, but doesn't seem to have any sort of effect. You think the whole thing is probably horse shit.
Yeah.
And when you're bedding down and Argus is dreaming up the best story he can tell through, it's probably going to be very entertaining considering he's a concussed and it's only going to be like half lucid in the first place. But Argus, you are further sent into well, it's not that extreme, but I assume it would be like a little bit heightened because of your condition already. Your stomach roils a little bit more than normal, and you feel a little bit nauseous, and you kind of scuttle back into the cave, and you kind of do like a dry heave a little bit, right? But nothing, just like you don't feel good, and you feel like extremely lightheaded, and you start to see like kaleidoscopic colors, like psychedelic colors out of like your eyes, and you're like, what is going on? Like, oh, I'm obviously still not recovered from but this is like a new symptom from your concussion. You have no idea.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We do need something else wrong with Argus.
But then it passes. Like the whole episode takes like maybe 30 seconds, and you're like, okay, all right, I'm okay. I'm good, Argus. I'm good.
Flashback, man. Go get in the fur coats and disrupt.
Sounds like you need to eat a larger dose. I don't think microdoses work.
Oh, I'm not licking any more crystals, man.
All right, camping procedures.
The brown crystals, I learned that at Woodstock, man.
All right, so actually, I should have given Guillem the opportunity here because it's core part of his thing is when you were traveling and got lost, did you want to forge? Because you can forge while you travel without. Yeah. So just don't forget to tell me that because that is like a key thing for you because everyone can forge, by the way, much like everyone can do thief skills, just that the friars are better at it than you are.
I didn't realize it was while traveling. That's great. Wow.
Yeah, so there's an optional rule which I am putting into effect, especially now that we have a friar, is in general everyone can forge without losing any speed. But you can also choose to do focused foraging, which is similar to hunting and fishing, where it basically is the only thing you do during the day. But then you have it's not the full day. That's pretty cool. So it reduces your movement rate by 50%. But then you up your chances of successfully foraging to 4 in 6 chance for anybody. And if there's a friar in the party, it goes up to a 5 in 6 chance.
Ooh.
Which is pretty sick.
That is really.
But that's the focused foraging.
That's focused foraging. So the normal foraging is what we're doing right now is without breaking your movement rate at all. Everyone has a chance of a 1 in 6 chance of finding something. Friar in the party, 2 in 6 chance.
Nice.
So we can each roll.
No, it's for the entire party. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's what the party manages. Yeah.
Because we have a friar, David rolls, and then he gets a 2 in 6 chance.
That's correct. Yeah.
Do it, David.
And this is for like mushrooms and.
I got a 6.
Mm-hmm.
You.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not able to forage anything, so that's not going to happen. But that's fine. Just wanted to try it out. Just remember that should be a default activity should you be traveling in the wilds. Period. Yeah. But I don't want to have to.
Plucking mushrooms as I trot along trail. Yeah.
Okay, so who's going to fetch some firewood?
As soon as I stop tripping balls, I'll go.
Do we not have enough firewood on the horses, or do we?
Yeah, we have
2 more days of firewood on Ethel, but if we can gather some, we should, because we're lost.
Also, I'm really, really super healthy. I'd probably be a good one to go out there just in case something jumps on me.
Okay.
Yeah, I only got 1 arm. I can't do that.
Yeah, you stay in the cave.
All right,
Halifax and I should go get wood.
Argus and Halifax then, while everyone else is setting up camp, it was Chythain, Snowfall, of course, as well. Chythain and Gwendolyne, I have to remember to call them that now. Argus and Halifax, you're both going to roll a 1d6, but you're going to subtract 1 from the total result just based on general circumstances and availability of dry wood in the forest right here.
All right, so I get a 5.
Okay.
I got a 4 minus 1 would be a 3.
Okay, so the target number is 8 because you want to get enough you need that many hours to get through it a whole night, so you're able to do that. But of course, you do have your stash. So if you just want to add that to your stash, you have you basically have another night's worth of firewood.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to burn it tonight, so
that's fine. Yep. Water is always assumed to be gettable in a forest environment. So that's basically a non-issue while we're in the Dolmenwood setting, which is the entire time we're playing. And now for the cooking. Given a fire, cooking pots, and ingredients, which means either foraged food, standard rations, or hunted game. Oh, so it can't be iron rations. Do you have standard rations?
Let me double check.
I have standard. I have some standard rations. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I have 5.
That's fine.
days worth.
Yep. All right. So yes. So the cook must make a wisdom check. Guillem, you've been called forth to bring forth your pots and pans.
Get in there, you frisky hobbit.
All right. So my wisdom is a 14.
Is there some friar bonus to cooking? Is that the thing, or
is there?
There's not a bonus to cooking. I just can forage, and I can use a frying pan as a weapon, as an improviser. Of course, I can use a frying pan, a cured sausage, or a ham shank as an improvised club. So obviously, the first chance I can do that, I'm going to do it.
By the way, I would kind of house rule and expand that to like basically making you like a master of improvised weapons, right?
Okay.
Like if you can kind of come up with like a sort of funny, comical thing to use as a club, not going overboard, I would call it each time, but you would be okay with it. Everyone else, even fighters, would have a -4 to attack with something like that, but you wouldn't.
So here's my question: did I see at any point when we went back into the tomb Aelfric's arm?
It's on my arm, dude.
he didn't actually lose the arm?
No, he didn't lose the arm. Now I kind of wish he did. I wish he did.
But when he does, inevitably,
goes up and falls off.
They carry it around like that guy on the beach.
I'm a friar of the Peleatic Church in a time in which the observation of death and the body is sacred. The cleft arm that you're giving me is a holy weapon. Right? This is not
Exactly.
This is not some tawdry thing. This is as sacred.
It'll be amazing.
It's a relic. It's literally a relic.
Yeah, it's a relic. Exactly.
Okay,
what
so
would be hilarious though is if it got confused eventually as Saint Snell's arm, and Aelfric gets no credit at all. And
I love it.
okay, so here's the deal. Go ahead. Well, make the check. Let's see what happens. So you're trying to roll a 14 or under.
5. Nice.
5. Great. Yay. You made it. Cool. You also need to change your name because it's just reminding everyone of how sad it is.
I don't think I can edit my name. I think that's on your end, or no? How
No.
do I do that?
You should be able to do it. Matt, you should do it too for Halifax.
Where do you do it?
I don't know where.
I found it. It's the pencil icon. You can change your name.
There it is.
Oh my God.
Oh,
look at that.
There we go. So, but great, you did your cooking. So here's the deal. It doesn't mean that you get to cook for like one standard ration you can feed everybody. Everyone still has to donate the rations. It's just that you get better food out of them. So I need everyone to erase another standard ration.
I can mark off for me.
Give up 2.
Yeah, I'll mark off 2.
And then, don't forget Gwendolyne and Chythain as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, 1 for me, 1 for Gwendolyne.
Oh, I got it. Okay, cool.
I'll do 1 for me and 1 for you.
Got it. Yeah. All right. So thanks to the excellent cooking, you're able to turn what is usually just like hard tack and hard cheese and the hard ends of bread into like a delicious stew, Guillem, and it's the first warm meal you've had in some time. And it's quite delicious, so everyone's going to get a +1 bonus to their con checks when they rest. All right, camaraderie time. Does anyone want to tell a story?
Well, I think it's time we sing the tales of Snell.
Absolutely.
A ballad, or we pass poems around. Kind of like when Gandalf died there. In Lothlorien, they're all talking, and Sam recites a poem about the fireworks.
Yeah, that's great.
We've got a Gandalf, poor Snell here.
Now,
Halifax is really feeling it for Snell, man.
So I would say that normally it would just be one person would tell the story and there would be a charisma check. But we'll say because it is a remembrance of Snell, and we'll do it this one-time thing, that because everyone has a story to share, and everyone's feeling a little bit melancholy about the whole thing, I'll allow Aelfric, Argus, and Halifax to each make a charisma check.
I was
right. And I just
20 roll under our score. Right?
roll under. Yeah, I just need one person to succeed. You're not going to get like like cumulative bonuses, but I'll up your chances of succeeding.
I did. Wait, under our charisma, right?
Yep.
Yep, I got it.
Great.
I got it too.
Oh, nice.
I was a friend of Jameis. He gave me his.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay, so
I shed water for the dead.
Yeah, you share pleasant stories about remembering Snell, and toast to his memory, and you are also going to get a +1 bonus from that, from the general camaraderie. So it's nice. And okay, we are at sleeping, so we have a campfire. We are at ideal conditions as far as we can for winter.
Fur coats?
Got the fur coats, yeah. So, excuse me. What?
Failed contact. Here I come.
By the way, these are like elegant, like dressy fur coats. These aren't like hunter trapper fur coats. Right?
Yeah.
Like
No, they're beautiful things. Yeah, they're
we're stinking them all up.
you definitely are. Okay, so normally it would be a straight con check, and it can't get any better than that. So I am still going to leave it at a straight, but the good thing is it's not 2 con checks; it's just 1, and there is no automatic failure, which is good too. So it's going to be a con check for everybody, but I'll say that the coats also give you an additional +1. So all of your bonus, you're going to basically making a con check with a +3 bonus. So raise your con by 3, and you're looking to hit that target number or under. Okay, so before you roll, tell me what the number is so we all know.
I rolled. I had with the +3, I have to get under a 16.
Okay, great. So Aelfric made it.
All right,
You go ahead, Ted.
With the +3, I have to get under an 8. 8 or under.
All right.
Right,
Mother.
and-
Oh.
Everything we give you.
We try so hard. Con 5.
I have to roll under a 19 with the +3.
Okay.
Come on.
I'll do my. Watch me get a 20. Oh, 5.
5. Okay. Great.
There were 3 for
You want to trade? You want to trade numbers? I was rolling for Halifax out of courtesy. He was rolling for me. It's a brotherhood thing.
There were 3 fur coats. Am I snuggled up to someone in theirs? How's this working for me?
You can sleep next to Ethel. Sleep next to Ethel.
There you go. All right.
I'll give you that. That's fine.
All right, so I have to roll under 12 with the bonus. Hey, 10.
10. Great. Cool. You did it. No problem.
I'm so glad I have higher con than 5.
Rolling for Halifax.
Oh, poor Ted.
And for Gwendolyne. All right.
Winter's almost over there, Argus. Don't worry.
All right. So,
What did you say, Mike?
I said winter's almost over, and then you don't have to deal with this anymore.
Yeah. I'm definitely retiring next winter. I'm not leaving the house for months. I'll have to make all my coin in the summers I can winter in somewhere sunny like Florida.
all right. Anyone who was hurt, who succeeded, can gain 1 more additional hit point. Ted, you lose a hit point from fatigue.
I got 3 days left, and then I'm toast.
Okay. All right. So you.
Better?
Nope. Your arm's not better. I'll let you know. Don't you worry.
I assume I'm still well concussed.
Yeah. How do
Yes.
Oh shoot! What's his new name? How do Gwendolyne and Chythain look this morning?
They look much better.
Oh, good.
They didn't like sleeping in a cave, but they liked it a lot more than sleeping in the place of his death, or where he was buried.
Minor details.
Bunch of namby-pambies. Come on.
Okay, just checking statuses here. Good. Okay, in the morning, Guillem and Aelfric, what spells do you prepare in your morning ablutions?
I mean,
Doesn't matter.
I can't cast any spells, so
You don't want to. You don't want to just keep in practice by studying your spellbook.
Yeah. I think just for fun, because it doesn't matter, I'm going to memorize floating disc.
Floating disc. Excellent.
Oh,
Guillem?
that'd be handy. Wouldn't it?
Love to see it. Light. I'll memorize light.
Light. Very good. All right. You wake up in the morning. Duncan Mudmerlo does not appear to be there.
Today's the first of what, John?
Today is the first of Hagrim.
Sounds
And
nice.
can you please roll me a 2d6, please?
I'm not gonna do it.
I'll do it.
Sorry. I feel like if everyone's injured, I would obviously memorize Cure Light Wounds and use it. Would I not? So, what's everyone's HP at? You're significantly down, Argus.
Oh, I'm at 3 out of 5.
Okay.
I'm concussed,
I'm
and
at
I'm
full.
cold.
I'm at 3 or
Is-
4. I'm fine.
Would casting that on a pack animal? Would I have any awareness of it improving their condition, or is it kind of moot?
Say it again.
Casting Cure Light Wounds on a pack animal, would it improve their condition anyway? Or are they basically as improved as they could be from what we've done?
They are in rough shape, but they are moving normally. But there is no since you left some stuff behind. What healing with them would do would allow them to carry more, but you basically have everything with you now. You know,
Right.
but they're looking rough. I mean, it's not like they're going to be like, no, I don't need healing.
I'm
I'm
gonna keep light for now. Then.
keep like
Do they look worse from sleeping last night? Or
no,
do
they look okay. They look fine. Yeah,
Okay.
they're just not at top shape, basically. Okay.
Are you rolling for weather, Mike?
I
You
already
did,
did.
yeah.
I rolled a 2.
So it's a deep freeze. Things just get colder and colder over the night. Thankfully, your fire was roaring merrily, so you didn't feel the effects until you woke up in the morning. And it's even colder than normal. There's a hoarfrost actually over the ground, so everything sort of crunches on your feet. Much of the lake itself is actually frozen. And you see that over by where Mudmerlo was panning for something there, that it appears that something has sort of frozen into crystalline shapes, basically on top of the lake. Like you see, like some sort of residue on there.
Not the body of Mudlow or whatever.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in back. I'll
Mudmerlo.
go.
Yeah, we should go take a look and see what that is.
So it appears to be. Well, it's tough to say. It looks like some sort of like crystalline powder, right? It's sort of like been actually frozen, so it's like it actually sort of makes like a little sound when you touch it, like a shh.
Is a crystalline powder over the top of the ice on the lake.
Yeah, it looks like this was something that was left over from his panning that he forgot to take with him. That would have been in like a more muddy sort of form if it wasn't so cold out, but it's since like basically frozen overnight.
It's not ice crystals. It seems to be some other like
Yeah,
rock
what color?
or
Yeah, what color is it?
It's sort of like it's a little bit of like a brighter red than the russet of the crystals that were in your cave.
I'm gonna scoop it up and put it. I'm gonna use my dagger to scrape it into a pile, and then use my dagger to scoop it up and put it into a bag,
Okay.
like a pouch.
All right. So you should note that you have that.
Okay. And then, guys, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If we are on the northern and potentially northeastern corner of Fog Lake, let's just cut due east and try and get to that friar thing close to, on the road. And then we just take the road up Frigwort or down to Brackenwald or wherever we're going to go.
I also agree.
Yeah,
As a friar, I imagine I might have a rapport with them, so it might be worth it. Makes sense.
Just try to head due east. And it's morning. The sun's like you said. It's clear, right? Like we can tell which way's east. We can follow the sun.
Okay.
Yeah, if we head straight east, we should hit the road.
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit not to scale, but in general, you're more heading northeast if you're looking at your map. You also have like the antique map, right, from Castle Brackenwold. Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or, which is a little bit more.
I remember. I bought that.
Yeah, so a little bit more accurate, which would show you that it's actually towards the northeast. Okay. Are you going to be heading as quickly as possible, or are you going to attempt to search this hex?
We attempt to search the hex. It takes the whole day, right? And then we might be
just move
camping
for
again.
now. Yeah, let's move.
I think
for
we
now.
should just get to the road.
Dude,
Okay.
I just want to get this treasure somewhere safe so we can get
Yeah,
something.
Same.
Just asking.
God's like, damn.
Okay.
You know,
Come
I
on,
want
guys.
to.
I'm itching for a fight. Come on.
To be clear, you know I want to search all the hexes the minute we have recharged. I'm ready for some random wood wandering.
I don't know. It's like it's been 13 sessions. You guys are still under the impression that you're going to be recharged.
No.
This is as good as it gets, guys.
True.
All right. All right. So you make your way out and you move along Fog Lake. Through the mists are still extremely heavy in the morning, actually, as well. The air is very still. At this point now, it's so cold and so frigid that all of your, like, you get the crystals in your beard, like the snot is running down, just like immediately freezes on your nose and into your mustache. The Ethel, and I know that your horse has a name, Ted. I just can't remember what it is, but there's Biscuit, Mandrake, and Turtle. What is it?
I think it was Turtle, wasn't it?
Turtle. Okay, cool. Yeah, Biscuit, Ethel, and Turtle are not happy at all, and you make your way northeast, and
heading for the road.
Doing your best. I think you're heading for the road. So make me, please, a D6 roll.
I think it's.
I screwed us last time. Somebody.
Yeah, I'll. Is this a? This is one of the higher is better dice, right?
Oh, find out. I guess.
Doesn't matter.
5.
Okay. So you feel that you are able to. It is still keep the sun in the right direction, and you managed to make a beeline in that direction, which is good. And then give me one moment, please. A little bit of this. Then we're moving over into this. One moment, please. Oh, come on, man.
I'm sure everything's fine.
A little bit of this action. Moving over there. Oh, a little bit of open. Got a little bit of there. Okay. All right, so
Doesn't sound good, does it, Mike?
you you move around. You're basically skirting around the northwestern side of the lake, basically moving, keeping it, to your right the entire time, and finally you branch off, and you're able to stay in the right direction as you head northeast towards the Refuge of St. Key and hopefully the Horse-Eye Road. Soon enough, after about 3 miles or so, you enter into a the forest itself seems to open up a little bit. Like it's not quite as densely packed as it was around Fog Lake. The mist itself tends to disappear. And indeed, after, let's see, you're moving 8 miles. So, say not quite before nighttime, but I'd say probably about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You finally hear the sounds of civilization. You can hear horses neighing. You can hear carts being drawn. You can hear the shouts of men and women. And then, much to your delight, probably for everyone, but particularly for Brother Guillem, you hear the tolling of a bell. Dong. Dong. And you come out of the forest and you see before you the wayside monastery of the Refuge of St. Key.
Dude, I run towards it like a fat kid chasing an ice cream truck.
Remember,
only one arm, pal. Only one arm.
You guys stayed here before, right?
Yeah.
On the way down. Yeah. Right. Okay.
We had lunch. I don't think we stayed here.
Right.
We did. We had a meal here. I don't know if we stayed overnight, but we definitely hung out with the friars.
Yeah, on our way down to Castle Brackenwald,
right.
And I think even like before our adventure started, I think we.
So the Abbot Spatulard comes out to greet you, along with some of the monks. You've met him before. Wispy-haired man in his 60s, gigantically fat. Definitely someone, Guillem, that you can tell has definitely my God, I can't think of the most basic words. Has definitely benefited. Benefited is the word I'm looking for. Benefited from the largesse shown to his monastery from travelers. But he's happy to see, and it is delightful to see all of you again, and you've brought a man of the cloth with you, brother. You, of course, can reside in the cells with the others, free of charge, of course.
Last time we saw him, we had death rot.
Right, yeah, well, you're looking much better now.
I'd have bought the death rot.
It's been quite the adventure for these level 1 adventurers.
God.
Indeed. Yeah.
Death rot, banged up arm.
Good to see you, brother. Where can we tie our horse, etc.?
So
these animals actually need some attention. If we could,
they'll take care of it. It's all good. Let's see here. Give me a second. Looking for prices here.
Free.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, so there's only private rooms. There's Spartan monastic cells on the upper floor of the refuge itself, and they cost 2 silver pieces a night.
Okay.
Meals are included. The meals are served with the freshly baked caraway buns, so like caraway seeds. Ooh. Yummy.
Great.
We should get some extra of those tomorrow.
What would you guys say to staying just a couple of nights?
So, question. As a man of the cloth, could I not try to haggle him? Brother, as a man of the cloth, you understand that we carry very little wealth. Ignore this! Ignore the lifestyle!
We've got these giant candlesticks.
Well, listen, we only acquire that which we can donate to the church. Please, is there any way we can have your nicest room?
It's
for a discount,
pieces, man. I don't want to haggle.
I'm afraid, brother, that all we could offer is the peace of the Lord and a warm fire, some food, and the roof over your heads.
I'm fine with this.
Bless you, Abbott. That's exactly what
I had to try. Are we wrapping soon or no?
We should, yeah.
We are, yes.
Okay.
So
I want to. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. What?
Well, we could let's. I wanted to talk to him a second before we bed down for the night, whenever that's appropriate. That doesn't have to be now.
Yeah, we should probably pick that up next time. But what I will say is that you guys can bed down for the night, and you have safely taken treasure from a place of danger to a place of refuge. So this is you will get all that. We'll do it off stream, of course, but.
Oh, thank you, baby Jesus.
But you will get.
Does that mean I get some of that as Guillem?
Yes,
no.
You do. Yeah, you do. Whoever brings the stuff back out of danger gets it. Yes.
Nice.
Yep. And we'll pick it up at the Refuge of St. Keye and see what happens from that point on.
Right on.
Good. But
nice.
Good job getting out of danger, even though you got lost.
Yeah. I just want to. So, are we going to bed or no? We're going to bed as we speak.
Yeah.
Well,
Just we don't have to answer it, but I just want to whisper to him as we're sitting around a fire or something like that. What have you heard about Archbishop Sanguine?
Okay.
I asked him that same question.
Yeah. You don't have to go to bed in order to get the XP. So we could pick it up with the conversation before you go to bed, but it's fine. Yeah.
Right.
But we'll tally all that up next time. So and once again, great session, guys. Thank you so much.
Fun. That's fun.
Let me just get back to the thing here. Right.
I feel spent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that was a rough.
About this.
That was a rough one, but Chythain and Gwendolyne are very happy to be in a warm bed as well. But you did it, so it's good. Freezing cold, but you're feeling good. So good job. All right, guys. So that was it.
Honeymoon suite at the monster.
No, unfortunately not. It's all the same here at the refuge, but still, it's a warm place. All right, guys. So we'll see you guys next time for episode 14. Don't forget, everybody, to please like and subscribe. 3D6 down the line, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Thanks for all your comments, everybody. We love them.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
And the
Bye.
poems. Keep the poems coming.